Hello again and welcome back. This is lecture number 10 and it will be the last lecture of the series. If you enjoyed this work and found it helpful, I would appreciate hearing from you. Please feel free to email me at any time. In this lecture I'm going to create the drawings for exercises 28, 29, and 30. As you know, there were 10 lectures in the series, and if you would like the lectures to be shown again, let me know and I will try to accommodate you. Before completing the exercises, I do want to comment, however, about the making of isometric drawings. The drawings you are now looking at are not solids. They were drawn and printed in model space using isometric commands. These companies did not want to use paper space at all. A couple of these drawings I'm going to be producing later on in this lecture. So I suppose we might as well get started. Actually, exercise 29 is this bookcase, and exercise 30 will be this cabinet. This is project 28. I'll enlarge the 2D window so that we can see the dimensions better. Pick a point and hold the mouse down there. Now we can read it. Then of course we go into the left view drawing that we're going to create. And first thing is to go to model space and set the layer to 1 to be current. Then simply pick a point and start to draw. There's any number of ways you could start to draw this. I'll start simply by picking a point here, make sure ortho is on, and type 1.875, enter. I'll move the mouse to the right, type 4.5, enter. Move the mouse up and type 1.875, enter. Enter again to finish the command. Then I'm going to pan down, sort of center it, and enlarge it so that you can see what's going on. So I'll zoom with the window just like so. I think the next thing I'll do is to offset, enter, the total height, which is 9.25, 9.25, enter. Then probably we'll draw a line from the midpoint of the bottom here straight up, and now we'll offset enter, 0.938, enter. Offset there and there, so that we'll be able to draw a line and connect, well, O-snap has to be on. We want to connect that point with that one, enter. Enter again, repeat the command, connect that with that, enter. Now we want to erase unnecessary construction lines which only add confusion. I can fill it, enter, radius R, enter, 0, enter. You could easily trim it as well. Now you can use the offset command again, enter, 1.875, or just one, enter, and move that line up, hit enter twice, and we can offset. Well, there's no dimension given. Well, alright, we'll offset 1.188, enter, that there, and that there. And we've got our centers for the circles. So now we'll hit escape, type C, enter. I'll pick a center point, D, enter, 0.875, enter. We'll repeat it, C, enter, C, enter, pick the intersection, D, enter, 0.875, enter. And we'll remove unnecessary construction lines. Well, I perhaps shouldn't have done that, so I'll undo it. Now what we want to do is offset O, enter, 7, enter, and move up like that. And we can type C, enter. I'm still on offset, so escape, C, enter, pick this intersection, D, enter, 1.116, enter. Now I can erase the unnecessary lines. And we'll want to offset again, O, enter, 1, enter, offset that line down, enter twice for offset again, and we'll do 0.625 on this side and on that side, and zoom with the window to enlarge the area. First thing we want to do is draw a couple of tapped holes. The outside diameter of the tapped hole, that's 1032, is 3/16. So we're going to do C, enter, pick the intersection, D, enter, 0.188, enter. And this time I'll simply copy that hole from intersection to intersection. That's the outside diameter of a tapped hole, the root diameter. The inside diameter of it, that will be about 25 thousandths less. So I'm simply going to offset again. O, enter, 0.025, enter. Then offset that inside and do the same with the other one. Now that outside diameter should be a hidden line, so let's try it. I'm going to select the outside line there, and the outside circle there, and we're going to go to Properties, and we're going to go switch it to a layer called Hidden. See what it looks like. Doesn't show very clearly, so I'll type LGS and make it 0.6. Perhaps that's better. And now we can erase the unnecessary construction lines again. Now zoom, previous, and we'll erase, E, enter, this line, and perhaps that one. Well, we have the front view of the plate shown, so we'll switch to and put layer center, as current, and then we'll put some center marks here. Repeat the command. And we'll draw another center line. I suppose maybe have it come down to about here. I'm going to pan over a bit so that we can draw the side view of it. We're going to need to copy the top line and the bottom line, drag it over like that, hit enter or escape. We want to be sure that we're on layer 1 to be current, and we'll draw another line, doesn't matter where, here. Then we're going to offset that line 0.75, and we'll use the fillet radius 0 again to clean up the intersections. Then we'll want to go to dimension style and make sure that the units are 3 zeros after the decimal point. Get rid of the first leading 0. Now we're all set to start dimensioning. I'll use zoom real time to shrink the thing down a bit, then pan, and we're going to use the diameter, which is here. I think I'll call out the tapped holes first. Well, it's not going to work too well. I'll have to zoom it up. Okay, we're going to try again with the diameter. Select one of these, doesn't matter which one for the time being. So I'm going to put it up there somewhere. And then I'm going to zoom previous. But first I should have made layer DIM current. And then I can select that and change its layer from 1 to DIM. Of course, it should turn blue. Hit escape. I have to edit that. ED enter. And I guess I'll delete it. Then we'll type 2x, enter, number 10-32 UNF. That's unified fine thread 1032 dash 2B. We'll get into all that stuff later if time permits. Okay. And I suppose now I can continue with linear dimensions. I could pick a point from the center to the end of that hole and put it there, 0.625. Hit the space bar. I could go from end point there, and it should be 1.250, which it is. I can click on the dimension and drag it out here if I wanted to. Escape. I think I'll continue to dimension the plate, but without putting it on the video, because I'm sure you will find it boring and it simply takes a lot of practice. So I'll do it now without putting the dimensions on the tape. Of course, what I forgot to do was to show the hidden lines on the right side view. Let's see if I can do that now. I can copy, for example, that hidden line, then drag it over here. And I can do the same for the other center lines. Take the O-snap out, because that'll always get you in trouble if you're not using it. And one more, I suppose. Might be easier simply to make the center line current and simply draw a line with the O-snap on over here like this, and then break it. BR enter. You don't always have to show all these holes and things on the right side view, so why don't we just let it pass? The final thing we'll want to do on this is to create the solid model. So I'm going to go to Layer, make Solid Current. Matter of fact, probably a good idea to freeze the dimension layer and freeze the center line. Then all I have to do is to copy with ortho off and simply move the plate to the upper right somewhere. Now I can go back and thaw the dimension and the center layers. Z enter, E enter. Shrink down the drawing. Zoom in on it. And now type PE enter, polyline edit. Make it a solid, we want to make it a polyline. So we say yes. J enter. We'll select all the lines that constitute the perimeter. Enter, enter. We'll zoom up here. Not going to show the threads too well. I'm simply going to show the holes. So what we'll do is erase the root diameter of the thread and zoom previous. Then we'll want to change that whole picture and put it on layer solid. Here it is. Hit escape. Move into southeast isometric view. Pan and zoom and move. I'm going to move this plate away. Seems to be kind of close. Now what we want to do is to extrude, EXT enter. I'm going to extrude everything. A distance of 0.75 enter. Now we can subtract from the plate enter all the holes. Enter and see what it looks like. It looks okay, so we'll Z, well, I think perhaps we'll want it to stand up. So I'll hit escape and I'll go to 3D revolve, rather 3D rotate. Pick a point, select the red axis and type 90. Enter. Z enter, E enter, and then we're going to go into paper space. Might as well enlarge this whole drawing. Z enter, E enter. We'll want to make the viewport layer current. and then we're going to type MV, enter. We'll snap off so we don't have any problems. Then we're going to make a big, huge window. See how it fits. Then we'll do another one. Double click inside, and then I'll pan and zoom. And using zoom real time, even make it bigger and pan it. Whatever. And here we go double click outside, select the 2D viewport for annotation scale, and this is going to be at 1/2. Well, first of all, I suppose I ought to go into top view, and now click outside. Now click the frame and go to annotation scale. It should be 1/2. Well, that's not too bad. Double click inside, and then we can pan and hope that the whole thing shows up, which it does. Seem to have missed a line here somewhere, but that's okay. Well, that's it for tutorial 28. Thank you for watching. This is the drawing we'll be doing for exercise 29. It is an isometric drawing. An isometric drawing is not a 3D drawing, but some companies prefer them because they are very easy to draw once you've learned the technique. The technique is somewhat complicated, as you will soon see. We will be using the same technique that we have been using all along with a split screen, and we'll draw on the left side of the screen the picture on the right side of the screen. First, I'll enlarge the picture on the right. I'll click on the left portion of the screen, switch to model space, make layer 1 current, and get ready to draw. Before we can draw, however, we have to go to dimension styles. We have to establish that we want to modify the primary units. Instead of decimal, we now want to use fractional, so we select fractional. In addition, we even want the text to change. If you look at the text, it's set up one way. In this case, we want to change the text by putting the text above the dimension line and then aligning the text with the dimension line. Then we'll close. In addition, we want to change the crosshairs, so I'm going to click on Snap. Nothing happened. Nothing happened, so I'll type the word S-N-A-P, snap, enter. Then I'll type S, enter for style. I want to change the style of the snap to isometric, and then I'll type I, enter. The vertical spacing, I'm not going to be using the snap. I'll put 0 anyway. Whatever. Okay, now you look at the crosshairs and you can see that they have changed. And if I hit the F5 key, the crosshairs will keep changing. So you'll want to practice that. The next thing I'll want to do is to draw a line. I'll pick any point on the screen. It's rubber banding, so I really want ortho on. And I'm going to draw that line 54-1/4, 54 1/4 inches long. And you notice that it goes off the screen. Of course, we always draw the real value. So it's out in space somewhere, 54 1/4 inches long. So I'll hit escape and then Z, enter, E, enter. That zoom extends. Now I can shrink it down to a size where I can work on it, like that, and I can pan it. If I were to put an aligned dimension on here, say from there to there, you would hardly see the number. That's because we have not set the dim scale. I'll set the dim scale now. I'll type DIMSCALE. This drawing, remember, is to be plotted at 3/4 inch equal 1 foot. That means 3 inches equals 4 feet. That 3 inches equals, so 1 inch equals 16 inches. So the dim scale has to be 16. So I'm going to type 16 for the dim scale. Now when I erase this and put a new dimension on, say for example, I'll make DIM current, and I'll put an aligned dimension on this line. It should be readable, which it is. So we'll continue drawing the figure. The next thing I'll do is, of course, go back to layer 1 being current, and then I can draw the line from the endpoint here, 22, enter, 54-1/4. You can also use decimal equivalents like the 0.25, and then connect it up there. So that, you might say, is the top view. Now you hit the F5 key. Well, before I do that, I'll shrink the drawing down in size with zoom real time. Now I'll hit the F5 key so that I can draw a line down, 36, enter. The line's going in the wrong direction, so I'll have to hit F5 key again. Now it's 22, enter. Then I can just go up and close it, enter. Also, you can draw a line from that corner down, 36, enter. Hit the F5 key and bring it over there, enter, or escape. And I'd want to break, BR, enter. I want to break this line. I might add that all the material for this bookcase is hard-pressed wood, 3/4 inch thick. So what we'll want to do, say right away, is to offset the lines 3/4 of an inch to allow for the thickness of the material. So, O, enter. As I say, you can use decimal equivalents, it doesn't matter. 0.75. So I'll offset that line. And perhaps zoom in and clean up the corners. For example, we can use F, enter, fillet, radius of 0, and then just clean up all these corners. Hit the space bar. Zoom previous. Zoom with the window so you can see it better. Fillet. The snap is on, that's why it's bounced around. I should take that off. F enter. Zoom previous. Window. F enter. Go back to zoom previous. I'll want to draw the shelf, so I'll enlarge this area so hopefully we can see it better, and draw a line, L enter, from the midpoint, here it is here, of that line to, you might say, the midpoint of that line. And because that is 3/4 inch thick, we can offset it 3/8 on either side. So O enter, 0.38 enter. We'll offset that up and offset that down and erase the line in the middle. Well, before I do that, I should zoom it up so we see it better. Alright, I'm going to erase the middle line, and I'm going to break BR enter that line, fillet radius 0, and clean up the intersections. Spacebar, zoom previous, zoom with a window, try it again, zoom with a window, and we want to break BR enter, fillet enter, hit the space bar, fillet enter again, zoom previous, zoom previous. Of course, to make the picture complete, we want to copy, let us say, any one of these sides lines here. Copy that and put it here and put one here. Escape, and then we'll want to trim from that line and also from that line. Enter the excess like that. So for all intents and purposes, the picture is correct, and we have to finish dimensioning. So we're going back to layer, and we're going to make DIM current again, and we'll add a few more aligned dimensions. I'll put one here. Spacebar, one here, another one from the inside here to the inside there, like that, and another one from there to there, there. The dimensioning process is somewhat complicated. Now we'll have to go to dimension oblique. I'll select that one, enter, and I'll type an angle, -30. That flattens it out. I'll repeat the command, O for oblique, select this one. Again, -30. And then we have to oblique again, O enter for oblique, select this one. But this is not a -30, this is a +30. So just type 30, enter. Didn't work. Try it again. I'll go to dimension, I'll go to oblique, select this one, enter, 30, enter. That seems to be okay. Also, we can edit ED enter 17 and a quarter here and just type E, well, I have to be capitals, EQ equal, and click OK. Well, I didn't do that right. I'll have to select it again. It's correct. It's somewhat complicated, but I haven't used this for quite a while. But I made hundreds of drawings of this for different organizations like Bob's Stores, Zayre's, and others. They use these because they're easy to construct cabinets and so forth. We're going to do another one in the next lesson. Alright, so let's continue on now, and I'll go into layout mode. I don't know how that line got there, but I'll erase it. Doesn't want to go anywhere. Alright, let's enlarge the whole thing. Z, enter, E, enter. Z, enter, hit escape. Z, enter, E, enter. Oh, that's what that is. It's part of the cabinet. That was something. We're not going to make one of these smaller viewports because we don't have a solid model. And so I'll simply erase it. E, enter, here. The scale, as you see, is 3/4 inch equals 1 foot. 3 inches equals 4 feet. So 3 inches equals, well, 48, so 1 equals 60. And all I got to do is make sure the scale is set. So I'm going to click on the frame and go here to annotation scale. So I really want 1 equals 16 because that's the dim scale. So that's about right now. Okay, I'll hit escape. Then we'll, as usual, we'll make layer 1 current, freeze viewports, OK. And the drawing is completed. You'd save it as 29. It's perfectly readable. A lot of companies, as I say, prefer doing isometrics rather than 3D drawings. I think they're a little bit more difficult, but once you get the hang of it, you can really knock these out. The next one is next exercise will be more interesting. Thank you for watching. Hello again. This is exercise 30. It will be another isometric drawing. So I guess the first thing I'll want to do is make the right side active by clicking on it and then zoom with the window to enlarge the drawing so that we can all see the dimensions better. Now I'm going to click on the left side, make it active. I'm going to go into model space. Layer 1 is active. OK. What we have to do is go to dimension styles, and we have to modify it. Remember, just like last time, you have to change the units to fractional, and we have to change the text to, well, we're going to make, I guess it's going to be above the dimension line and aligned with the dimension. So that's the way we want it. Okay, close. Also, I'll want to change the dim scale, D-I-M-S-C-A-L-E. I'm going to make it 16 because 3/4 inch equals 1 foot, 3 inches equals 4 feet, equals 48 inches, so 1 inch equals 16 inches. Then we're going to go to Tools, and we're going to go to Drafting Settings. Well, I didn't change the dim scale yet, so I'll have to type 16, enter. Now we'll go to Tools, and we'll go to Drafting Settings. This is another way of doing it. And Snap and Grid, we'll click on Isometric Snap and say OK. Hit the F5 key, toggles the crosshairs as you can see. So now we'll draw a line. That line will start here with ortho on. It'll go up 67 dash 7/8. Enter. Enter. Z, enter, E, enter. Zoom extends. So now I'll shrink it down. And then I'll pan. I'll go back to the line command here. 18. Enter. 67 dash 7/8. Enter. And then just select it and close it. I'm going to draw another line going down, so I have to hit the F5 key. That's a mistake. Undo. Going to draw L, enter. From here, hit the F5 key, 50. 50, enter. Hit the F5 key, 18, enter. And go up. Enter. Now we're going to do another line. We'll start from here, go down 36, enter. Hit the F5 key, 40, 40, enter. Hit the F5 key, and go up here, and escape. Then we're going to trim, TR. I'm going to trim that portion of the line off. Then we're going to draw another line from the midpoint of this one. No, escape. Line, midpoint. Here. That'll go up. That'll give us the doors. Enter. Then I'm going to trim. TR, enter, from that line here. And I'm going to offset, O, enter, 0.75, enter. Offset these lines. And copy this line here. From there to there. And copy this line from there to there. Escape. Then we're going to also offset, it's still 0.75, so we'll offset this line here, and then I guess we'll want to break, BR, enter, this line in a couple of spots. Because now we want to zoom in and fillet the intersections. Zoom previous, zoom window, TR, enter, trim from that line into that extra bit, and trim or fillet here and here. Try it again. F, enter. Okay. Then we're going to zoom previous, And we're going to draw, or rather I'll copy this line from that point to that point. Escape. And I'll zoom with the window. And move, well, I guess I can fill it. These two lines. And I can draw a line from here to here. And zoom previous. Now I'll erase this line and I'll copy, CO, enter, C, enter with a crossing. I'm going to copy all that. I'll hit the F5 key and move it down here like that. Hit escape and we'll zoom with the window like this, and we're going to trim from this line, enter these two lines here as well as that one, and zoom previous. Now we want to zoom in and we want to break BR into this line here, not offset. Undo. I'll zoom in, offset, enter, 0.75, OK. I'm going to take off object snap and break BR into this line here. I'm still on offset, what's the matter with me? BR enter, break from here to here. Want to erase this line and fill it, radius 0, here, and trim, TR enter, from this line enter that one, enter. Of course we want to fill it, this little here and here, and draw a line from the midpoint here to the midpoint, or 20 point that's nearest. Okay, then we're going to zoom the area. And we're going to offset, enter, 0.75, this line. And we'll trim, TR enter, from here, still on offset, TR enter. Going to trim from this line into that little bit, and we're going to break and fill it. Clean up these two intersections. And we're going to trim, TR enter, from this line into that one, I'll zoom previous, and we want to copy. I'm going to want to copy that line with the object snap on. from that intersection to that intersection and that one. And we'll zoom with here to enlarge it, and we're going to trim TR enter from this line and also from that line enter the excessive length. Zoom, previous. We have one more chore to do, so I'll hit the F5 key again and again, and I'm going to type, I will select the polyline, and I'll pick any point here like that, and I'll type W for width, 0.25, enter, enter, so it's 0.25. That'll give us a heavy line. It's a polyline. And all I got to do is copy that heavy polyline, hit the F5 key, and drag it over, find a spot that looks right. So the drawing essentially is done okay. Now, of course, we'll want to dimension the object, so we're going to change the current layer to DIM, and then we're going to put a dimension, a line dimension, from here to here. Why it came out wrong, I'm not sure, but I'll worry about it later. Oh, because I cut it to the nearest quarter inch, so don't worry about it. I should have made it to the nearest 1/8 inch. Sorry about that. This is good enough. Alright, so we'll do it again. We need to have an aligned dimension. I should have set it to the nearest 1/8 of an inch, not nearest 1/4 of an inch, which I did, so it's my fault, but I don't want to do it all over. So we're going to continue dimensioning with the aligned dimensions from here to here. And from a point that line dimension from here to here. Hit escape, that's not right. Okay, we want to go to dimension, oblique. I'll select this, enter, -30, enter. I'll select this one, over oblique, -30. What happened? And we'll do this one here. Go to dimension, oblique. That'll be a straight 30, +30. Well, it is getting late and I'm getting tired, and I noticed I've been making a few mistakes here. For example, I forgot to put the number over the dimension line above it. That's one mistake I made. I also forgot to give dimensions to the nearest 1/8 of an inch instead of a 1/4 of an inch. So I thought I'd just finish up the dimension and be done with it, so that we can move along and I can finish this project. So I guess I'll go into layout mode now, and I'll go into making the whole drawing fill a screen. I'm not quite sure why that is showing yet, but I'll want to Z enter, E enter. Oh, I know why. It's because it's already in model space, so I have to fix that. I'll go into model space now. Now if I go into paper space, well, it still doesn't show. Shows. Alright, so I'm going to make layer, viewports. Oh, it's off. That's why it happened. Alright, make that current. Okay. And here,
if I click on this now, then we can go to annotative scale. 1 to 16, that's what that is. So okay, now I can double click inside and pan to center the drawing. And I'm going to erase what we usually would put here for a solid. Come on, E, enter. E, enter. I want to erase this viewport. I'm not going to use it. And I suppose to finish up the drawing, we'll go to make layer 1 current. Now I'll freeze the viewports. I had it backwards before, sorry. Okay, so the drawing is complete. It's getting late, so I think that's all I'm going to do for today. Thank you very much for watching.
This video will show how to align two objects in 2D. The first thing to do is to make the command line active, type AL, enter, and select the objects. I'll select them with a window, enter. I'll have to pick the first point, but I need OSNAP to be on, so I'll connect these 2 points, then I'll connect these 2 points. I'll press enter to end the command. The selected objects are moved from the source point to the destination point, and second and third points, if I specified them, will rotate and tilt the selected objects. In this video, you will learn how to draw an arc by specifying 3 points. I'll pick on the command line to make it active, type A, enter, and I will need a start point. OSNAP is on, so I can pick this point, then I'll pick a point for the arc, and then the end point. I could do that again by hitting enter or the space bar to repeat the command. Take my first point, second point, and end point. Now we'll see how to use the break command to break an object, whether it be a line, a circle, or an arc. Of course, we'll make the command line active and type BR, enter, which is the alias for break, and we'll select the line, and we're going to take OSNAP off, and what we have to do is pick a point. You don't have to actually touch the line. I can repeat the command and pick another 2 points like that, or whatever. Keep doing it. Either go right to left or left to right, it doesn't matter. This time I'll hit enter or the space bar, and I'll select this line here. I'll type F, enter, put the object snap back on, and select my first intersection and then my second intersection, and you see that the line in between has disappeared. Also, we'll take off the object snap, we'll hit the space bar to repeat the command, and we'll try it on the circle. We'll pick 2 points, hit the space bar or enter key, another 2 points. You'll notice that I'm doing it counterclockwise. when you break a circle, you always have to do it counterclockwise. You don't actually have to touch it but get close to it. And that looks reasonably well. In this video, we'll learn how to chamfer objects. I have here a plate and a round shaft. So the first thing I'll do is to type CHA enter. Then I'll type D enter, and I'll type 0.25 enter. That establishes one distance. I'll hit enter. That establishes the second distance. Now all I got to do is select two lines. Hit enter or the space bar to repeat the command, and select another two lines. Repeat the command by hitting the space bar or enter key, and then do the last one. As far as the shaft goes, I'm going to type CHA enter again. Try it. CHA enter. D enter. This time the distance will be 0.06. Enter. And I'll enter it again because I want it at 45 degrees. So now I'll select the corner, repeat it down there, and again on this side, and again here. And since this is a shaft, and looking at it from the outside, there should be a line here. So I'm going to put a line with object snap-on from here to here, enter, repeat the command from here to here. And the drawing looks correct, so we'll move on. In this case, we will learn to draw a circle by specifying a center point and radius or diameter. And so I'm going to type C enter, then I'll type R enter, and with those snap on, pick the left end point, move the mouse. I'll type R enter for the radius and type 0.19. Enter. Repeat the command by hitting the enter or space key. Select the other end of the line. Now I'm going to type D enter, and I'll type 0.75 enter. And that looks right. In this case, we're going to copy an object using 2 points. So on the command line, I'll type CO enter. I'll select the circle on the left, enter. A base point, I'll select the quadrant using object snap, the quadrant, and I'll put that at the end point of the vertical line. Hit escape. Repeat the command. I'll select the circle. I'll pick the quadrant again, but this time I'll pick that left side quadrant, then bring it over here and put it at the end point there, and hit enter or escape to complete the command. And that looks okay. Here in this video, we'll learn how to insert points to mark equal segments. The first thing I want to do is to type PDMODE. The reason for that is I want to make sure I've got a mark here. 0, 1, 2, 3 all have different marks. So I'm going to accept 3 as the mark. Now I'm going to type DIV enter. I'll select the line, and I'm asked for the number of segments. I'll type 3, enter. I'll repeat the command. I'll select the circle, and they ask for the number of segments, and I'll type 6. So those X's are PD mode 3, and that divides the line. I could draw lines, I could break at those points, and incidentally they're called nodes. These X's are called nodes. So you can break different segments and so forth. I don't think that the erase command requires much explanation. All you have to do is type enter, and you can select individual entities to erase, or you can hit enter, and you can type enter with a crossing so that anything you touch can be erased, or you can make a window so anything encompassed by the window will be erased, or you can undo. I think that's enough for the erase command. The extend command is pretty straightforward. I'll type EX enter to extend. I'll select the circle, enter, and then pick any of these points to extend it to the perimeter of the circle. Repeat the command. I can do it one at a time. I want to extend to that line, enter. Repeat the command. I want to extend to this line, enter, that line, enter. Or you can do it multiple at once. For example, I want to extend to both of those lines, enter, then I can extend it like that. That's all you have to know about extend. The fillet command is extremely useful, and I use it all the time. I'll type F enter, R enter, 0.19 enter, and I'll select these two lines. I'll do it again. F enter, R enter. This time the radius will be 0, enter. This is a command you'll use constantly, because I can make a right angle whether the lines are far apart or whatever. So you want to be sure you learn the fillet command, and that's all there is to it. Here we're going to use the hatch command. I'll type H enter. Dialog box comes up, and I'm asked to select objects. So let's say I select the rectangle, enter, dialog box appears again. I don't wish to make any changes to the scale or whatever, so I'll simply say OK. I'll repeat the command. This time I want to change the direction of the hatch marks, so I'll change the angle from 0 to 90, and I'll pick a point. I'll select objects. I'll select the circle, enter, dialog box appears, you click OK, and that's it. Kind of easy and straightforward. Autocad is not as hard as many people think it is once you get into it. Sometimes it's easier to use the mirror command than to use copy or move. In this case, I'll use mirror. MI enter. I'll select the number 2 on that side, enter. With O snap on, I'll pick that vertical line. I got to pick 2 points like so. and you hit enter. You notice that the 2 does not invert. And I guess that's it for this video. The move command is also straightforward. Simply type enter, select the circle, go to the intersection there, and drag it to the end point like that. I could mirror that to put the circle on the other end, but instead I'm going to repeat, or I'll use the copy command. So I'm going to copy this, enter, from the quadrant on the left side and drag it over to the other end. Hit enter. And that's that. In this video, we'll offset a circle and a rectangle by specifying a distance. And so on the command line, I'll simply type O, enter, and then I'll type in a distance, 0.1, enter. And I can offset the circle any number of times. And also I can offset the rectangle, in both inside and outside, as you see. Hit escape to clear the command line, and that's that. In this video, we're going to use the petit command to join polylines, lines and arcs into a single polyline. Of course, you have to have a single polyline as shown in red here in order to be able to extrude it in 3 dimensions. So, to begin with, I'm going to activate the command line and type PE enter. It says select a polyline, so I select a line. I'm asked if I want to turn it into a polyline. I say yes, enter, just hit enter. Then I want to type J, enter, to join. In other words, I want to join to that line, which I just made a polyline, all these other lines. So I select them all and hit enter twice. Now that is a polyline which can be extruded. So it's same with that one. This is also, petit is also useful to create wide polylines. For example, if I was to type PE enter and select this line, which is a polyline, I can type W enter and specify a new width for all the segments. So I'll type 0.125, enter. Repeat the command, select the second line, W for width, enter, specify a new width, 0.375, enter. Repeat the command, select a polyline. An arc is a polyline. No, it's not. So I guess I have to turn it into a polyline. I'll say yes, enter, and then I'll type W, enter, and specify a width of 0.062, enter. And that's another example of the polyline edit command. In this video, we will create a polar array, and so I'll click the command line to make it active, type AR, enter. Then click on polar array and select objects button, and I'll select the object. Hit enter, dialog box appears again. I'll click to pick a center point which will be at the cross section. The total number of items I'll change to 10. I want the angle to fit to be 360 degrees, and so I'll click OK. In this one, we will create a rectangular array. We'll type AR enter on the command line and select rectangular array. Now we'll want to change the rows to 2 and the columns to 3, and we have to select the objects down here. The dialog box appears again, and we should put in dimensions. The row offset would be 0.48, and the column, no, my mistake, the row offset would be 0.59, and the column offset would be 0.48. Then we'll click OK, and that looks all right. The rotate command is another one that I use quite often. All you got to do is type RO enter. I'll select this line and select the base. I want the line to go clockwise, so it has to be a negative number. So I'll simply type -30, -30. Repeat the command. This time I'll take this vertical line, enter. There's the base point, and I want to do -30 again, -30 again. Then of course I would copy CO enter this line in order to make the before and after the same. We'll learn about putting dimensions on later on. And that's that. The scale command is also pretty straightforward. Just type SC enter, select the object including the dimension, because the dimension will change when you scale it. I'll pick the intersection there, and I'll make it scale it by a factor of 2, enter. And that looks right. I want to drag it down with grip so to improve the appearance. You'll have to take O-snap off to do it right, like that. Hit escape. And that is done for the scale command. Using the trim command is also very helpful. Just type TR enter, and I'll select, say, these 2 vertical lines, enter. So from those lines I can trim that one, and that one. Or I can just type F enter and draw a line. It's a fence. Then automatically all of them will be trimmed at once. Or I can trim, I'll hit escape, repeat the command. I can trim from the circle anything on the outside like that. Or if I wanted, I could even trim on the inside like this. I'll hit escape and undo that, just so I'll try it one more time, and this time I'll type TR enter. I want to trim from the circle, enter, and I'll use a fence, F enter. So I want to get rid of those lines, enter, trim again, select objects, F for fence, and then just do it backwards like that. And that does it for this grouping of simple basic AutoCAD commands.